This is QTV News coming to you from our studios on Caraba Avenue. I'm Umudu Gajaga and thank you for joining us. First, here are the main news headlines. The Presidential Task Force investigating the acute kidney injury deaths of 70 children published its report on Friday. In the face of high inflation, we look at the impact on the financial sector, including banks, which are currently experiencing what is reported as an acute shortage of foreign currencies. The GCCI and the resilience of organizations of transformative smallholder agriculture project Roots today launched an $80 million project for smallholder farmers and farmer organizations. The National Population Commission Secretariat on Friday commenced 2 days forum capacity building for National Assembly members. In international news, Ghana has launched an HIV self-testing program empowering Ghanaians to check their HIV status conveniently and privately. Those were the news headlines, and now the news in detail. Welcome and thank you for joining us. This is QTV News. The Presidential Task Force investigating the acute kidney injury deaths of 70 children published its report on Friday. The report establishes a link to cough syrups imported from India. Acting on the recommendations by the task force, the government has taken a series of disciplinary actions and is reviewing avenues to sue those allegedly responsible for the deaths of the 70 children. Here is an excerpt.
We have never lost sight of the fact that sadly 70 children died as a result of the outbreak. The AKI outbreak was a national tragedy. This was a very difficult moment for all of us, and we wish to emphasize to the bereaved families, His Excellency's President Barrow's resolve and that of his government to addressing this issue. After reviewing the findings of the causality assessment report and conducting a series of interviews and reviewing numerous documents, the Presidential Task Force made a series of findings and recommendations, a few of which will be highlighted today, since we are going to launch the report shortly. First, the task force confirmed that the deaths can be conclusively linked to the 4 cough syrups imported by Atlantic Pharmaceuticals from Maiden Pharmaceuticals in India. The task force also investigated how these syrups were imported from India and distributed in the country. Recommendation number 6, the government of the Gambia to permanently revoke the importation license issued to Atlantic Pharmacy Company Limited and their directors. The response is the license of Atlantic Pharmacy Company Limited has been permanently revoked. Number 8, recommendation 8, the government of the Gambia should with immediate effect dismiss the executive director and deputy executive director and consider prosecuting them in line with the relevant laws for their abdication of their official duties. The response to that recommendation, considering the foregoing, for the purpose of strengthening the MCA and restoration of public confidence in the institution, the executive director of MCA has been dismissed with immediate effect, and also the contract of the deputy executive director is terminated with immediate effect. The report will also be forthwith transmitted to the Gambia Police for further action. Recommendation number 9, the government of the Gambia through the Ministry of Justice and Ministry of Foreign Affairs should forthwith explore the possibility of instituting further legal action against Atlantic Pharmaceuticals and Maiden Pharmaceuticals and should engage with the government of India to seek criminal and civil redress on behalf of families of the victims of the AKI outbreak. The response to that recommendation is the government is far advanced in exploring avenues for potential legal action against Atlantic Pharmaceuticals and Maiden Pharmaceuticals, as well as potential redress through engagement with the government of India. The government of Gambia is currently benefiting from legal advice from a top-tier legal law firm that will support us in carrying out this.
In the face of high inflation, imports of goods and services are on the brink of suffering disruption. This is because the financial sector, including banks, are currently experiencing what is reported as an acute shortage of foreign currencies. As QTV's Mudlamin Choi reports, this problem has implications for the cost of goods and services, hence our huge dependence on imported goods.
The financial sector is witnessing troubles due to shortage in foreign currencies in the Gambia. At banks across the country, there is reportedly a shortage of foreign currencies, significant among them being the US dollar. Alaji Jang is the executive secretary of the Bankers Association.
We cannot buy. Some people will tell you that the parallel market, they are selling, they are buying my dollar at a rate of 64, 63. But who are the parallel market? We don't know. When we encourage customers, they will take their dollar and go to the black market and sell it and get more money and sell it to us. So it's affecting business within the banks. But we have been regulated by the central bank. And if central bank say, look, this is the reference rate, we have to abide by the rules because we don't want to be hit or we don't want to do something that's not abide by rules, abide by law.
The Central Bank of the Gambia sets the reference rate for the exchange of currencies against the dollar. Banks, forex bureaus, and all those in the financial sector are obligated to comply with such rates. However, there has always existed what is widely referred to in the financial and business sector as the black or parallel market, which pays more for the exchange of foreign currencies. Luis Sarkis is the president of the licensed forex exchange bureaus.
The forex bureaus have been complying with the reference rates, although we have some challenges with some of the MTOs because some MTOs are not complying with the rates that have been prescribed, money transfer organizations. So that is bringing a lot of distortions. It has affected the bureaus because some of the bureaus would not want to pay on behalf of those MTOs because their rates are high, even though they are going against the prescribed reference rate. And this has made some of the bureaus not to pay for those products because if they do pay, the settlements from the banks would be in accordance with the reference rate that will bring about no margins, or you can even get losses from those transactions.
Businesses and key actors in the financial sector are meeting at the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry to discuss the foreign exchange problem, which has a cross-cutting impact on their transactions. Chairing the meeting is the president of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Idris Amas Job.
Today, if you look at the difference between the reference rate and the market rate, is almost $5. So you cannot tell yourself that it is 58 when you know that to buy the dollar is 63. So we have to be able to work between the forex bureaus and the banks. And we think the data exists within the banking industry to be able to determine the real reference rate. So we are not saying we don't like it, we just say it is good, but it must be reflective of the reality on the ground.
Demand for the dollar and some other foreign currencies have gone up while the dollar continues to depreciate. Amidst this concern, our country continues to import more than it exports. Trade involving international transactions of imported goods into the Gambia are conducted in foreign currencies, including the US dollar, a shortage of which could lead to inadequate supply of commodities in our market. The Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry is committed to working with government and key actors in the business and financial sector to resolve the problem of shortage of foreign currencies in the Gambia, and that consultative dialogue with stakeholders has already begun. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
The Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry (GCCI) and the Resilience of Organizations for Transformative Smallholder Agriculture Project Roots launched an $80 million project on Friday. The 6-year project targets smallholder farmers and farmer organizations. Loli M. Camara has the details.
The 6-year $80 million project will be implemented by the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry (GCCI). The project is a collaborative investment between the government of the Gambia, the International Fund for Agricultural Development (IFAD), the private sector, and the smallholder farmers within the project intervention areas. The 4P, which stands for the Public-Private Producer Partnership Matching Grant, is valued at $1 million. and will be awarded to 7 agricultural enterprises, including small and medium enterprises, green small and medium enterprises, and farmers' organizations. The president of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Idrissa Mas Diop, thanked the Gambia government through the Ministry of Agriculture for the strong partnership with the private sector through the GCCI. According to him, this project will add value to our local food production.
The supply chain constraints have brought in a new dimension to food security. Because food security, if you have money to buy food, there are lots of countries in the world that do not produce their own food. They just have enough money to be able to buy food, and then they have food security. But nowadays, you might have the money, but because of these lasting wars that we are having that are disrupting supply chains, you need to have food sovereignty.
Fatou Jammeh Touré, Deputy Permanent Secretary of Projects and Programs at the Ministry of Agriculture, representing the Minister of Agriculture, says the government of the Gambia attaches great importance to this project as it targets women and youths.
We are really honored to have this component, which is component 2, which is coming up with this particular partnership to help that category of people through a matching grant. And this grant, the beauty of it is targeting the cream of the society and the most hardworking category, which is the women, the youth.
Babukar Ojuv, the Minister of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment, was delighted to have launched the project and thank all partners for coming up with this initiative.
We need to impact individual lives. We want to support and promote this production and productivity, because that's the only way we support the economy of this country. Our productive capacity must be enhanced. And this 1 million, I have no doubt, will have an impact on your production and your productivity. And the Ministry of Trade is opening arms, wanting to work with you through the GCCI so that we help you to market whatever you produce.
To benefit, proposed business plans should fall within the categories specified by the grant, which include post-harvest processing and value addition, packaging and branding, renewable energy integration, sustainable agricultural practices, organic agriculture production, and recycling waste management in the agriculture sector. Applications open on the 21st of July and will end on the 15th of August 2023. It is hoped the project will benefit the hundreds of SMEs and farmers' organizations in the country. For QTV News, Lolly M. Camara.
We will now go for a commercial break, and when we return, we still have some more local, international, and other stories.
Modu came in to buy some bathroom floor tile, but once he laid eyes on our basins, he fell in love with a stunning basin and with a breathtaking faucet. With a brand new mirror too, at a bargaining price.
So, I got a bathtub too.
Oh yes, he picked up a bathtub too.
And yes, that's Batimat's Bati Days. Take advantage of exceptional discounts up to 60% on tiles, sanitary, electrical, and lighting. From March 4th to 18th, you will be splurging. Batimat, welcome home.
Inco Home Choice. Home Choice. Bagage bu baax mooy def liggéey bu baax te wóor te soo ko jëndee dina la yóbbu ci diir bu yàgg te du gaaw a yàqu. Inco Home Choice ñoo leen indil bépp xeetu bagage yi judduwaay yi ngeen mun a jëfandikoo ci seeni métier yi.
waaw ñun Inco fii leen di jëndee suñu bagage yi Inco lañ yombalee bagage yi dañ over baax quality bagage lañ lay jaay moo tax ñun liggéey bu ñoo def electrical plumbing boo ji Inco fii leen lay ñëw brique am ñu jënd suñu bagage ñu bàyyi ko ba ci stand Serekunda fii waaye fii leen lay ñëwee bagage dina bagage lu waral loolu Inco dañ yombalee bagage number 1 number 2 seen bagage yi dañ over baax dañ over quality
bagage yu si mel ni power tools accessories bench tools generator yu baax welding machines ak small construction equipments muy bagage yu baax yi ngeen mën a jëfandikoo bu ngeen ay samp ay kër.
Because in common friends, the bagaso quality is a guarantee. The bagaso bagas niya sa nimisatije. Imita fengomin nada ingo maso to jang amang Gambia jang maso to follow. Den nga ñoo mako akolera nya wonyandi mbe nga wuli nga na inko nga bagaso sa.
Seet si leen ñu si suñ maakaan yi nekk ci biir réew mi foofa sa Jinpex Kanifing Sukuta Jabang traffic light ak Birkama opposite Joko night club wala ngeen call ñu ci 532 5773 wala 341 7619 wala 739 8863 wala 303 9300 wala nga email ñu incogambia@gmail.com ak Inco Home Choice jafe-jafe ci wàllu bagage yi ngeen di jëfandikoo ci seen métier yi jeex na. Inco Home Choice. Inco Home Choice.
Welcome back, and thank you very much if you're just joining us. This is QTV News. The National Population Commission Secretariat commenced a 2-day forum for National Assembly members on Friday. The aim is to enhance their capacity for advocacy on population, gender and reproductive health issues. Julden Jai attended and filed this report.
This 2-day training is funded by UNFPA and will empower and enhance the knowledge and skills of National Assembly members to make informed decisions on population-related issues such as gender and reproductive health. The workshop session will feature speakers and experts in various population-related matters to stretch Assembly members' understanding of critical gender and reproductive health challenges. Kodu Jabang Sengor, Permanent Secretary at the Office of the Vice President, says the population of the Gambia is projected to reach 4.7 million people by 2050. Madam Jabang Sengor says this presents both an opportunity and a challenge to our national efforts to achieve socio-economic transformation.
If the right policies and laws are put in place, the current trends in population growth can serve a good catalyst for accelerating our socio-economic transformation through the reaping of a demographic dividend.
PS Jabang Sengor further says she is hopeful that at the end of the 2-day training, the capacities of the lawmakers will be enhanced with cross-cutting knowledge of population and development realities and dynamics to better advocate for appropriate budgetary allocations, promote legislation, especially in reproductive health and gender issues, among others, for sustainable socio-economic development. CDS Kenjai, Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, states that this training is relevant and timely as the Gambia continues to grapple with challenges of reproductive health, gender-based violence, FGM, child marriage and other population-related and development issues.
We cannot agree more as Parliament and parliamentarians that in order to remedy the situation, it is necessary to have a comprehensive understanding of these issues, as this would go a long way in addressing and enhancing the capacity of the legislature to appropriate more funding for population and development programs, including reproductive health and gender. Equally, it shall enhance the capacity of parliamentarians in ensuring population-friendly legislation to improve on the prevalent laws on health care and the protection of rights of women and children.
Mr. Njai says the National Assembly, through the network of African Parliamentary Committees of Health, remains committed to issues of population, health, women and children. Ndeiru Sar, the UNFPA representative, says the Gambia also continues to grapple with a declining but still high maternal mortality rate, inadequate education for women and girls who face limited economic opportunities, and extremely low representation of women in politics.
So it's very important for us to talk to you as legislators, representative of your different constituencies. Where we can make significant progress in addressing these challenges is through the development of laws, policies, and programs that integrate population and development issues in everything we do.
Madam Sarr says UNFPA and the National Population Commission Secretariat will continue to support at various levels to ensure these issues are well understood and promoted at the National Assembly. For QTV News, I am Juldenjai.
29 vehicles and 42 motorcycles have been impounded by the police in Farafenni, headed by Mobile Traffic Commissioner King Colley. Our regional correspondent Don Williams witnessed the event and filed this report.
The police activity happened in the early hours of Sunday, and most of the motorists and motorbike riders were caught by surprise when police requested to see their driving license, insurance, and also check their lights, signals, tires, and number plates. Some unlucky motorists were handed mandatory on-the-spot fines. Police Commissioner Lamin King Colley of the Mobile Traffic Unit in Kanifing explained the purpose of the operation.
I am on the nationwide checkup for the requirements. As you may know, or as you know, we are already in the rainy season. Many motor vehicles, they don't have good braking system, wipers, signals, and even the lights. All these issues during the rainy season, if you don't have a very good light, you don't have a wiper, it can be a factor to cause a road traffic accidents. And such accidents are normally fatality. They end up having fatality. So that's why we cannot stay in the Gambia, in Banjul alone, but we decided to come for this weekend in the North Bank. We'll be here today, Sunday, and Monday.
Abdullahi Ndao, a motorbike rider, complained about paying an on-the-spot mandatory fine of 1,500.
The police are asking for a lot of things. I have a motorbike and all my documents are intact. However, we still speed off when we see the police, because if you park by the roadside, they will charge you for parking at a wrong place. This is the only place we can park. So they usually charge us $1,000 or $1,500, and that does not make sense.
Commissioner Colley further stated that all vehicles that broke the rules are impounded, including those from Senegal.
Now, what we have found here in Farafenni, as it is a general checkup, not only the vehicle that flies Gambian vehicle alone, but even Senegalese vehicle, because here is their routine. And normally they do have accident in the Gambia, which also resulted to the death of Senegalese people. And then the requirements that they need in the country is the insurance of the CDAO.
This was what Commissioner Colley added about the thoroughness of the exercise.
We have packed 42 motorcycles with 2 different offenses: crash helmet and unnumbered motorcycles, whilst we have packed 29 motor vehicles. Some were released after meeting the requirements.
Road accidents are very common in the Gambia, and they continue to claim many lives. Implementation and enforcement of the road traffic rules are huge problems. Despite the numerous traffic police checkpoints across the country, violations of the road traffic rules are a daily occurrence, leading to some accidents. Pedestrians will be hoping that the clampdown seen in Farafenni is a sustainable operation. Don Williams, QTV News, Farafenni.
The report from Don Williams takes us to international news. In a significant move to fight HIV and promote citizens' well-being, Ghana has launched an HIV self-testing HIV-est program, empowering Ghanaians to check their HIV status conveniently and privately. Lena Igonyiba reports.
The HIV-ST program aligns with a growing trend across the continent, with countries like South Africa, Lesotho, Eswatini, Nigeria, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, and Cameroon already implementing similar HIV-ST equipment. Globally, it is estimated that only around 70% of people living with HIV are aware of their status, posing a challenge to achieving the global goal of ending AIDS by 2030. For instance, in Ghana, the Ghana AIDS Commission GAC reports that over 350,000 people are living with HIV, but only about 70% of them are aware of their condition. A look at the Gambia indicates that the country faces a concentrated HIV epidemic, affecting key populations such as men who have sex with men and female sex workers. The country has an estimated more than 24,000 people living with HIV, but only 51% of them know their status. It is essential to note that the HIV-ST kit does not provide a definitive HIV-positive diagnosis. A single line indicates a negative result, while 2 lines suggest a reactive result, which requires confirmation at a health facility for accuracy and follow-up care. The implementation of this program in Ghana offers a straightforward and confidential way for individuals to know their HIV status, potentially reducing new infections and improving public health overall. Hopefully, given its HIV prevalence, the Gambia will also consider launching the HIV-ST program to further combat the spread of HIV. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lena E. Gwenyiba.
Some progress there, HIV self-testing. Before we end this news bulletin, here's a recap of our main news headlines. In the face of high inflation, we looked at the impact on financial sector, including banks, which are currently experiencing what is reported as an acute shortage of foreign currencies. The GCCI and the Resilience of Organizations for Transformative Smallholder Agriculture project Roots today launched an $80 million project for smallholder farmers and farmer organizations. The National Population Commission Secretariat on Friday commenced a 2-day forum capacity building for National Assembly members. In international news, Ghana has launched an HIV self-testing program empowering Ghanaians to check their HIV status conveniently and privately. That's all in this edition of the news. Thank you very much for watching. Join us tomorrow for more news and have a pleasant night. Bye.